understand explaining complex tasks to, and like just trying to find the words sometimes, trying to string the thing together in a coherent, like, I'm gonna say this and he's gonna understand what I need him to do. And it's harder than it sounds. Like sometimes, and depending, like if I got a shitty sleep or I'm hungover or something a little bit, and I'm just like fishing for these words and like brain's not fucking working.
I've definitely grown accustomed to always trying to do things myself for exactly that reason. And I always get mad at the other person for not understanding what I'm trying to do. But in reality, it's probably just I wasn't being clear enough. Usually. Oh,
it's so hard. I'll just say something. It could be something so simple. The miscommunication can happen so easily. Yeah. It could just be like, I'll say something, and then he'll just start doing something that's so fucking wrong, like putting his life in danger or something, or who knows what. But then I realize like he's doing exactly what I said. Like, I could have easily
just not the way I said it.
I could have fucking been more specific. I always see that fault. Like it's like, oh fuck, it's my fault. I didn't mention that super important detail. Like, I thought I went without saying. It's like one thing I've been learning lately is fucking nothing goes without saying. Yeah. Nothing goes without saying.
I would definitely love if we could all just live with some universal language and everybody just kind of understood each other. But unfortunately, I'm definitely in the same boat as Jordan, where you need to be particular about everything. Yeah. And I remember I saw a video on YouTube. It was him. He had given a lecture at, I assume, a college or university. Mm-hmm. And this kid was standing up to ask questions, and the preface of his question was repeating something that Jordan said back to him, and but he was paraphrasing, so he wasn't using all of the exact words that Jordan was using, and Jordan kept stopping him to say, "No, I said this." Yeah. And then the guy was kind of like going, "Okay, whatever." He didn't say whatever, but he was just shaking it off. Yeah. And he was like, no. Jordan was like, no, it's not okay. I want you to understand that I said this, not this. Yeah. Because it makes a significant difference in people's minds. Sometimes it's too much of a generalization,
Yeah, for sure. Those are easy as hell to make.
Yeah, saying somebody
cuts you off.
Is broad.
Yeah, for sure. Someone cuts you off, and you're like, oh, people are so fucked. It's like, I've probably cut people off tons of times. Yeah. I don't even know it.
I definitely have. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Which brings me to a story from today.
Oh, please.
Oh my god. I went with my little sister from the hospital. She's only 15. And we, I shouldn't say only 15. She wasn't too young for this, but we just went to the McDonald's at Quimpool, and then we walked behind McDonald's and started taking one of those back roads back to the infirmary. And I see this post office worker, he has his van parked, and he's up at someone's door, and he's yelling at somebody as this guy's slowly driving by him. And at first I thought he was just joking, because people do, like somebody he knew kind of a thing, and he was like, fuck you, buddy. Yeah. But no, the guy stopped in front of him, had his phone out like he was recording, and the two of them were just yelling at each other, and they were like, no, you cut me off, and Buddy was calling the cops. He's like, I'm going to show this to your boss, and shit like that. How did I get onto that story? I remember I just yelled at them because they were just going on, and everyone was looking at them. I was like, life's a little short. Yeah. I just yelled at them because, like, I don't want to cut somebody off. I don't remember how we got onto that.
We talked about making overgeneralizations.
Yes.
Someone cuts you off and you say something
you're just calling them fucked and whatnot. And it's like, I feel like there's a better way you could be going about this instead of yelling at each other.
Yeah, it's like...
In hindsight, I wish I could go over and just say, hey, and be calm about it and be like, guys.
Yeah, I know. I've been a part of a number of really intense conversations in different situations lately. And it's incredible how... things can get easily heated, just kind of out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden someone's yelling, like, just starts insulting the person's intelligence or demeaning them in some way that has nothing to do with the subject we're talking about, And it's like, no, like, listen to what I'm saying, like, just, this is my point. And I find myself having to use Jordan's advice, like, understand what your point is. You've already thought it through 5 different ways, and be assertive, and then be open to their critique of your ideas, obviously, because you're in a negotiation with another person. But then just, when someone will paraphrase or interrupt and speak, saying what they think you're going to say or what they think you mean, or just like leading you down a different road, it's like, no, this is what I'm trying to say right here. And I'm trying to pin it down and actually like name the problem and find solutions. And we're getting angry at each other. We're all on the same team. We're all trying to solve this problem together. Like we need to be able to just look at each other and talk and make our points calmly and actually try to understand what is best here, you know, like what's the best move forward, and treating each other like we're all a bunch of idiots and we know best. It's just ridiculous, you know?
I'm guilty of that all the time, though. I definitely, if I'm doing something at work and somebody will suggest a better way to deal with it, I fucking can't just accept that criticism for some reason.
Yeah, well, it's worth thinking through. If people are making complicated points about complicated things, it's like someone might suggest something other, and then I have to actually spend some time like considering that, like a couple days thinking about that, you know, maybe, and I'm trying to figure out, I can't tell immediately maybe if it actually is better or if this guy's just being a fucking idiot. You know, you can't tell unless you actually think about it yourself and try it out. Maybe it's like an action, like do this thing technically this way instead of another way, and then you can try it that way, and if it happens to work for you, great, and if it turns out to be bullshit, then you need to figure that out for yourself too. So I think people need to spend more time living, to live and to like kind of carry these things with them throughout their days. Like,
go through the process.
Actually consider these things.
Yeah.
I had a really wicked mushroom trip by myself on Canada Day last year.
Nice.
It's very funny. I got 7 grams deep, and I was sitting right on this little meditation cushion. I had a bunch of little joints rolled up, and I was just like had incense burning, and I was like, let's do this. And then like I didn't even think. A full-blown Canada Day party just happened at my house. I just hear that. That's fucking crazy. Like, girls are crying and getting in fights and music's blasting and just like all kinds of stuff's going on. And it was just gnarly to sit here through it. Like,
did you stay in here the whole time?
Yeah, I did.
I would too.
In fact, when the whole thing happened, I was actually going through a very incredible bout of why the fuck do I even exist?
Yeah.
You know, like, what is it? Like, I felt like I was carrying such a huge weight, and I was wondering why I'm doing it, you know? Mm-hmm. And then I just had the worst images in my head of them just coming in and being like, party mood, just like, yeah, dude, what's going on? I'm just like, I want to die. Freaking out on shrooms.
People passing out in your bed or something.
Yeah, oh my god, I was horrified that people were gonna barge in. I was like, no, you stay out there. But everyone was good. No one came in, and I just like sat through the whole thing, and it was a wild trip. There's lots of talking points, but so what got me onto it? So you know, spending time wrestling with ideas. It's I was kind of at that time thinking a lot about yoga teacher training, which is something I kind of think about periodically. But I was reading a lot of yoga books that I wasn't getting, or I was kind of over the typical yoga rant, I guess. Like, I'd spent enough time kind of listening to different people like Alan Watts and Ram Dass and Terrence McKenna and all these different folks, and kind of like I felt like there was parts that I was getting, and there was so much about life that seemed outside of what I was getting from these different books, and there was a few yoga books written by Western people that I felt were just like so phony. I was like, you're just trying to, I don't know, it seemed like some shitty recycled philosophy from somewhere else that it wasn't entirely based on their own experience. Perhaps it was just like reciting the stuff from the sutras and the mantras and the Upanishads and like the old writings and everything. And I was like, you guys just saying all the same words. Like, you know, where's the living spirit in this philosophy? And I felt like I wasn't getting it. And not to diss modern yoga, because I feel it when I'm in the class, and certain teachers I study with, and some of them have been on the podcast. I really think they're very sincere, and I love going to their classes. But just some of the books I read, I think was bad, or I was having a hard time wrestling with the ideas, and so I was very high on mushrooms and thinking about all this kind of stuff, because I was like, maybe I should go down that road, and who knows what else I could do with my life. Like, I was weighing so many options about the future too, which I still kind of am. And I just felt like it was wrong for some way that I wasn't understanding this philosophy. I was like, why aren't I finding the answers here? You know, like, and feeling dismayed at not finding all the answers anywhere, you know, and then the voice, like the classic mushroom, I don't know if it's like amplifying your conscience or something, or what it is, if the fungus is talking to you, or
spirit.
who knows what's going on. So, but that voice just comes in, and it's like, you're never ever gonna fucking find your truth for you in anyone else's book. Like, the complete fucking what life is to Taryn Murray is not in any of these books. And it was just this huge relief. I was like, well, fuck, of course it wouldn't be. How could it be?
Man, that's crazy. I've been on like that same thing lately with like I'm worried that things like yoga guidelines, meditation, like just self-help in general, all of those kinds of articles and websites and whatnot are starting to... I'm scared that they're starting to become a cliche.
Yeah.
Because they kind of keep repeating themselves. Do you ever go on Tiny Buddha? You know that website?
No, I don't think so.
It's like a self-help blog on, trying to make everything positive, I suppose. And
yeah, that's kind of the thing that's...
It's just like
overdone.
Yes, every other week it's the same thing. 5 ways to help reduce your anxiety, or stuff along those lines. And
stop being anxious.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
or it's just like the same: eat better, yoga, meditation, or which that's what it is. To feel better is to not treat your body like garbage. Probably.
It's true. I feel like a lot of. But the thing is that I think it needs to be almost more general. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
Yeah, well, no, it's fine. We're getting going. You
were talking about the recycling their ideas over and over, same thing.
Yeah. It's not just like listing steps like that. They'll always have like the same mantras too, like 5 reasons why you shouldn't feel anxious or something, and it'll be like, well, because you have more than you think you do, and. So because the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah. So this is my comments on that. Is I feel like so I'll use the Wim Hof thing as an example. Wim Hof, the Iceman from Finland, who's like known for doing all these. He swims in cold water all the time. He does this meditating thing. He's broken so many world records. It's crazy. Yep. So I like he's a huge part of the reason I'm interested in doing like cold showers and jumping in frozen lakes and stuff like that, and taking ice baths and shit like that, and so I've been, and then Dr. Rhonda Patrick, who's on Rogan's podcast a lot, has written a number of studies on like heat shock proteins that your body releases in like sauna therapy, for example, as well as cold exposure and cold showers and ice baths and cryogenic therapy with the cold shock proteins, and the way that the stress response kind of actually stimulates really healthy processes in your body that are natural. They would be happening if we were still living in the forest, getting really hot and really cold, and all those different, metabolic processes in the cells and everything would be kicking on, but we live such sedentary lifestyles that we never activate these things.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here's these people, and I'm informed now. I understand some of the basic physiological processes with my body getting adapted to tolerating colder environments than it was used to, and how you start switching your body's method of creating thermogenesis, and but then it wasn't until that I actually managed to so I'd be like running the ice bath for myself, trying to like, okay, I'm gonna try and do a 10-minute ice bath, which is like 5 minutes more than I ever tried. and so I still just getting anxious just watching the tub fill up, right? Like getting that lump in my throat. I'm just like, oh my fuck, I'm about to get in that. I put my finger in it. I'm just like, oh, it's so fucking cold. And then anyway, so I fucking just start doing the breathing, and then I fucking get my body all tingling warm, and I get in there, and I just sit there for the whole time, just watching every fucking second go by, like shaking and just, and eventually I fucking stuck it out for the full 10 minutes, and then I stood up and took a warm shower, and I was just flooded with this positive emotion, just like so elated. I started laughing and almost tearing up. I was like, I can't believe I did it. Oh my god. So it's like, you can rationalize your way out of all sorts of things. You can try to, at least. But I don't believe that, so say with the ice bath, it wasn't until I actually saw myself do it and experienced it that I gained that confidence, and it made me a broader, more complete person for the experience. So if you read something like, you shouldn't be anxious because there's more to you than you think, It's like, that's a fact. There is more to you than you think. But you don't know that, and you won't believe that about yourself until you prove it to yourself.
Yeah.
So you